But this move to digital sales is exactly what powers Shopify. Shares of the company up more than 150% so far this year. With us now on Black Friday is Shopify President Harley Finkelstein. Harley, thanks for joining us. You have access to so much data about what's going on right now. What are the big trends you're seeing this year?
Well, thanks for having me, Julia. So for 8 weeks, I think I've been coming on the show and saying that things are going to be very, very different this year in terms of holiday shopping. The first major thing, of course, is that the center of gravity has shifted from in-store to online. And that's certainly the case. As we know, consumers are absolutely buying online more than ever. But there's another trend on the consumer side, which is this idea of conscious consumerism. And what is happening is more than half of shoppers told us in advance that they were absolutely seeking out local, independently owned businesses to support this year. We also know that consumers more than ever are now voting with their wallets to support independent brands. And those independent brands, I think, are going to lead the retail industry. You're also seeing this shift away from discounting. Today, November 27th, we're seeing companies like Allbirds, who are on Shopify, they're actually increasing their price on everything on their online store by $1. And the company said that all proceeds are going to go towards a climate strike movement. And so you're seeing more of this idea of consumers choosing to back brands and retailers whose values represent their own. And that's why Gymshark and Brooklinen and Parachute and Bombas and Beyond Yoga are doing so damn well right now.
Certainly, these multiple bottom line companies really benefiting from that conscious consumerism. But I'm wondering, Harley, we've just been reporting on Amazon getting 42% of all retail dollars this year. I mean, those numbers are just massive, up dramatically from last year. Do you think that Amazon's share is not going to be that high? Or do you think that some of these smaller brands are going to benefit more than maybe some of the other big box stores or the department stores?
Yeah, so I think the Black Friday, Cyber Monday weekend, first of all, is now a season. Of course, it's happening a lot longer. It's starting a lot earlier. But also, I do think that there is this shift now to buy from independent retailers and brands wherever possible. Let's talk about yesterday, because we have all the data from Thanksgiving Thursday on Shopify. We saw that peak sales per minute globally was about $919,000. That's on a per minute basis. That's about 34% higher than last year. So remember, the majority of stores on Shopify are these independent brands, and it's a bit of a proxy for how consumers are shopping. We also saw that U.S. average cart price actually increased to about $90 from about $86 last year as well. And we saw that shoppers are using mobile. About 71% of shoppers use mobile to make their purchase. So all of this together, I think, is indicating a shift that the future retail looks a lot more like Brooklinen and Our Place than it does look like the big department stores. Now, let's talk about Black Friday, because we are in it right now. And I should say that we surpassed our peak sales per minute last year in the first 5 minutes of this morning at around 12:05 a.m. Eastern time. If you go to data stories.shopify.com right now, you'll see that there's approximately about 1.6 million sales happening every minute and about 16,000 orders happening every single minute across Shopify. So that is a proxy. And again, that is indicative that there is a major shift in retail. And again, it's these independent brands and retailers that are winning.
Right. But Harley, back to Julia's question. I mean, you're clearly indicating how the pie is expanding dramatically, but it doesn't appear that Amazon's percentage of it is going down at all. Or do you believe that eventually these merchants you're talking about will actually eat into Amazon's dominance?
Look, I think there's always going to be a place for the large marketplaces. They are convenient. They focus on discounting and coupons, and there's always going to be a place for that for the stuff that you need. But more and more, as we are in this incredible period of holiday shopping, consumers want to buy stuff that they want. They want to have a connection to the products. So I won't speak for whether or not the dominance of some of the big marketplaces are going to change, but I absolutely can attest to the fact that consumers are buying more from independent brands, and they're choosing to avoid the large marketplaces if possible.
So you think, how would you address a young entrepreneur right now who's got an idea in terms of he thinks there's an unmet need in the marketplace for something and wants to obviously start, and they would start clearly online? What would your advice be to them in terms of how to go about getting to profitability as quickly as possible?
I mean, David, I heard Andy Dunn on the show earlier today, and Andy's someone who is, he was really part of the first generation of DTC brands. And when Andy got started, he had no choice but to build his own in-house system for bonobos. Shopify at that point was not necessarily very big, very well known. But today, I think that, every 52 seconds, a brand new entrepreneur gets their first sale on Shopify. Entrepreneurship is on the rise. I think in Q3, we saw a record number of business creations in the US. I think the largest since 2004. So you're seeing an increase in entrepreneurship, and more entrepreneurs that are getting started online are choosing Shopify as opposed to selling in the marketplace. They want to own the entire relationship with their customer. They do not want to rent customers with from these marketplaces. And also, in terms of the relationship these marketplaces have with those brands, you are seeing brands, big brands like Allbirds, decide not to sell through them because they want to sell direct. And that's mostly happening on Shopify.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.